Space exploration has always been a symbol of human curiosity and ambition. It's the final frontier, a realm where boundaries are constantly pushed and the unimaginable becomes reality. For decades, NASA has led the charge in space exploration, sending humans to the moon and robots to Mars. But in the 21st century, something incredible has happened. Private companies have stepped into the game, with firms like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic making groundbreaking strides. The future of space exploration seems brighter than ever. So, what does the future hold for us in space? Let's dive into it. Traditionally, space exploration was a government-only domain. NASA, Russia's Roscosmos, and European Space Agency were the key players. However, the last 2 decades have witnessed a paradigm shift with private companies entering the scene. The most famous of them all, SpaceX, founded by Elon Musk, has become a household name. Musk's vision: to make life multiplanetary, starting with colonizing Mars. But why are private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' space venture, such a big deal? Cost reduction. One of the most significant achievements of private space companies is the drastic reduction in the cost of space travel. As SpaceX's reusable rockets, for example, have slashed the cost of sending payloads into orbit. Earlier, launching a satellite would cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Today, thanks to reusable rockets, the cost has dropped by up to 80%. This innovation makes space travel more accessible and sustainable. Unlike government agencies, which often face bureaucratic hurdles, private companies operate with agility. They experiment, fail, and quickly learn. SpaceX, for instance, had a few failed launches early on, but they kept iterating. This culture of rapid innovation is accelerating the development of new technologies, from better rockets to life support systems for human space travel. While NASA's focus remains largely scientific, private companies have set bold, audacious goals. Elon Musk's Mars colonization plan isn't just about science, it's about survival. So Musk believes that in the long term, humanity needs to become a multiplanetary species to survive existential threats like asteroids or climate change. Jeff Bezos, on the other hand, envisions a future where millions of people live and work in space, with Earth being preserved as a protected environment. What does NASA think of all this? Some might wonder, where does NASA fit into this new space race? Interestingly, NASA has welcomed the involvement of private companies. In fact, they are collaborating with SpaceX and others. NASA's Commercial Crew program is a perfect example of this partnership. Instead of building its own space shuttle, NASA contracted SpaceX to develop the Crew Dragon spacecraft, which has now successfully carried astronauts to the International Space Station, ISS. By outsourcing certain tasks, NASA can focus on more ambitious missions, like sending humans back to the moon under the Artemis program. NASA's goal is to establish a sustainable presence on the moon by the end of this decade, which will serve as a stepping stone for missions to Mars. The next decade will see humanity returning to the moon, but this time the mission is different. In the 1960s and 70s, the Apollo missions were about proving that we could get there first. Now, NASA's Artemis program, along with private companies, aims to establish a permanent presence on the lunar surface. But why the moon? The moon can serve as a testing ground for technologies that will eventually take us to Mars. Living and working on the moon will help us develop the infrastructure needed for long-term space exploration. Moreover, the moon has vast reserves of water ice, which can be used to produce rocket fuel. This would make it a refueling station for deeper space missions. Private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin will play a crucial role in this lunar journey. SpaceX's Starship, currently in development, is being designed to carry large payloads and even humans to the moon and beyond. Meanwhile, Blue Origin's Blue Moon lander is being developed specifically for NASA's Artemis program, demonstrating how private-public partnerships are shaping the future of space exploration. If the moon is the next step, Mars is the ultimate goal. Elon Musk's vision of establishing a human colony on Mars is one of the most talked about ideas in space exploration. But how realistic is it? Mars presents unique challenges. Its atmosphere is thin, its surface is harsh, and temperatures drop to extreme levels. But the planet also has water ice, and its day-night cycle is similar to Earth's. SpaceX is working on the Starship, which Musk believes will one day transport humans to Mars. The Starship is designed to be fully reusable and capable of carrying large numbers of people, along with all the equipment needed to build a colony. NASA, too, is eyeing Mars. The agency's Perseverance rover is currently studying the planet, collecting samples that will be returned to Earth. And NASA's long-term goal is to send astronauts to Mars by the 2030s. But it's clear that private companies like SpaceX will play a crucial role in making this vision a reality. While space exploration is critical for scientific progress, there is another exciting frontier opening up: space tourism. Companies like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin are already offering short suborbital flights for those who can afford it. Though currently expensive, the hope is that as technology improves, the cost will decrease, making space tourism accessible to more people. But space tourism isn't just a luxury for the wealthy. It could have far-reaching implications. By commercializing space travel, these companies are accelerating the development of new technologies that can be applied to broad space exploration efforts. Moreover, increased public interest in space tourism may drive demand for further advancements in space travel. Despite the exciting developments, space exploration still faces significant challenges. The cost, while reduced, is still enormous. Space travel is risky, with even minor malfunctions potentially leading to catastrophic outcomes. Moreover, long-term space missions will require solutions for problems like radiation exposure, muscle atrophy, and mental health issues. There is also the question of regulation. Who owns space? How will resources be divided? As more countries and private companies enter the space race, these legal and ethical issues will become increasingly important. The future of space exploration is more promising than ever, with private companies pushing the boundaries of what's possible and governments collaborating with them. We're on the cusp of a new era. From returning to the moon to dreaming of life on Mars, humanity is embarking on the next great adventure. But perhaps the most exciting part of this journey is that it's no longer just for astronauts or scientists. In the coming decades, space travel could become accessible to the everyday person. Imagine looking up at the night sky, knowing that humans are living and working on the moon or Mars. That future isn't as far off as it once seemed. In the words of Elon Musk, we want to wake up in the morning and think the future is going to be great, and that's what being a spacefaring civilization is all about. Space exploration is no longer just a distant dream or the domain of governments. With private companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others leading the charge, the final frontier is opening up for humanity in ways we never thought possible. From lunar bases to Mars colonies, the possibilities are limitless. The future of space exploration is a shared journey, one that could reshape our place in the universe forever. The stars are no longer out of reach. They're just the beginning.